Share Reseller Mike here. Outside of Savers, which is usually my last stop of the day, I almost got skunked today. It happens, you know. I mean, you come close. I never really come close, but I came close today. I got just 2 items, basically 2 items. It's going to happen to you. Happens to everybody, and I'll show you those 2 items right off the bat, and then I want to discuss my first 4.5 months, the mistakes I made, some of the things that I think that you as new sellers, some of you veteran sellers are probably gonna be bored with it. I don't know. Maybe you'll pick up something. This is kind of for the new person who's looking to, you know, see how I did it, okay? So I'm gonna show you what I got today, just the 2 items, and then we'll go from there, all right? So first up, first 6 stores completely skunked, nothing. And that'll be part of my discussion, but then I ran upon this little guy. As we've talked about, Sony is a great name in electronics. This guy just had the battery and the unit itself. If I had like the remote and the charger and it all worked, well over $100 probably for this. They had a case too with it, this little guy. It's not a bad case, and it had, which was good, it had the manual, so that helped. Anyhow, you can see what I paid for it. I only paid, hopefully it will focus in. I paid $4.98, you'll see it, $5. There's a comp of one that was untested, same kind of situation I'm in, for $50, plus some $12 shipping, which is a medium flat rate. That's another discussion at the end of this video. So that, I'll still make 50 bucks off my 5. Not a bad little deal. I haven't decided yet if I'm gonna throw the bag in. I gotta see if it'll fit in that medium rate somehow. If it doesn't, then the bag stays with me or gets thrown away. All right, the other item was an interesting item because, again, this is gonna be discussing at the end of the video about what to buy, so forth and so on. This guy is called a Spider 2 Pro. Now, as a photographer up my field, I know what this is. This is a monitor calibration device. Problem is, on eBay, this thing, basically they give it away for like $9. I paid $2.98 for it. Here's the good thing, because I am an Amazon FBA guy, I checked it. The key here is, am I ungated? And I sure am, okay? So I have an app, I scan it, and it says I can sell this in used condition. A lot of people don't realize you can sell used stuff on Amazon. So I'll go home, package it up nice, and I'll send it in with my books, and I will get this, $65 for this item, and it will sell for about $65 on Amazon. There are comps on there, and there are guys right now sitting higher than that, so I will price just below them as a 65,000 rank. I'll turn my $3 into a $50 profit easily through Amazon. So sometimes if you're doing both, you got to kind of compare both ways, right? And it's amazing. Some people don't shop eBay, but they purely shop Amazon all the time, so they will buy it. So that's pretty cool. So that's a good item. That's the only 2 items I got. And we'll discuss my theory behind all this stuff too right now. So I got a little list, not too long, but for all you newbies out there who are doing this, some of the mistakes that I made early on was I got too enamored with the whole scene, the whole vibe of the store. There's so much to see when you're in the store. And I bought things that I had really no knowledge of. Maybe I was looking for comps, that kind of thing, but I never really had the confidence that it was going to sell, and I was just buying it to buy it, basically. So the first and most important thing, I think, is to know your products. For me, let me give you an example. I know photography, I know golf, I know some tennis, and I know electronics. I really feel that I know those 4 areas, which are pretty good areas to be in eBay. So I tend to try to focus on those, okay? That's the easy part for me. That comes easy. I know that, I can get it. I say, hey, that's a good item. That's a good item. Whereas if I'm on the, let's say, the glass aisle, I'm confused. And I spend way too much time on the glass aisle early on, or some other aisles. So know your products. Whatever you're good at, focus on that. That's what you got to do. You got to be focused on what you know. And you then garner the knowledge about other items as you build out. So maybe one day you're in the store and you're just twiddling through and you're just trying to find one item a store. Maybe a good goal is one item. You find a nice item, maybe you get lucky, find two, but you find one, and then you maybe study a little bit of another section of the store. And you do a few comps, so your eyes are getting used to that. So you're seeing, hey, I see this glass, I see this, I see that, I see this shoe, I see this piece of clothing, that kind of thing. So concentrate on your items and then branch by learning, by looking, by seeing. Okay, so that's a really good way to figure it out. You've got to be disciplined within what you know. You just don't want to build up too much inventory that's just dead, that is not going to give you a shot at selling, especially if you don't have a lot of space. Okay, this gets to another area here for me. Clothing is tricky. It is very tricky. You almost have to get most clothing items very cheap, $1, $2. So that's going to be maybe more of a garage sale type item. I have found stuff in the thrift stores, and the only way I do it in thrift stores for clothing, I look for new, I look for unique, I look for products with brand names, and new with tags. That's kind of my philosophy there. I just do not have any confidence. This goes back to knowledge about clothing. It goes the same for shoes. I pretty much buy only new shoes and name brand shoes, and that's how I roll with those. I just have, again, no confidence in how to sell them, how to set it up. I shoot them the best I can. There's a lot of good clothing people out there. They just know it, and that's their cup of tea. But for me, no, I just don't. Okay, and for most of you new sellers, it's going to be a little tricky in that area, the clothing area. The shoe area, you can run into a lot of counterfeits, so that's another thing you have to watch out for. The purse area, a lot of counterfeits. So if you just don't feel confident in there, scan it, look, maybe find something really cool, and maybe you find a vintage rock t-shirt. This isn't vintage, but you find a vintage rock shirt, those kind of things. And it gets confusing, so do that, keep an eye out for that. And I will get back to another one. Same thing with glass. All the glass items, very tricky. Glass mugs, all that, stay away from that. I am not a mug person. I will look at some mugs. I look for the ones that are 3D, that are relief style mugs. I look for those if I'm going to sell a mug. I've shied away from almost everything Starbucks. I just have, again, that's me. I have no confidence in it. I am a home run hitter, and if you watch my videos, you'll see that I do hit a lot of what I call home runs, $200, $300 items, 150s. That's my game. I really focus in on that type of situation. It's not that I don't sell $30, $40, $50 items. I do, but I have I think my average ticket right now is a $60 sale. That's pretty high on eBay from what I understand. For what I'm doing. So I'm right at $60 each purchase average. In 4.5 months, I just crossed $19,000 in sales in the last 60 days. I'm hoping this weekend that I can get above 20. That's my goal for this weekend. Okay, so I do feel like now I'm building enough confidence that I know a little bit what's going on out there and how that's all working. One of the biggest areas next is you're going to have to know your shipping. Shipping will kill you early on, and I made a lot of mistakes early on with shipping until I started to do one thing, and what I did was I would use other people's comps. So if you saw an item for like a VCR, I would look to see what they're charging, what's the range, so $20, $23. So in my head, I start focusing on $23 for everything. But then when I got home, I would measure it and weigh that unit and shove it in the eBay calculator. If you go into the web, Google, you can see the eBay calculator. Use that eBay calculator to start to build your knowledge of what it costs to ship medium size, small size, and large size items. You will make mistakes. You are going to have that problem. But if you catch it, if you get on top of it early, you will become much better at it overall. You'll know that this weighs under 16 ounces. That's a big number. You can put that in a poly bag and ship it for under 16 ounces. You're golden. You know, that kind of thing. So keep that in mind. Larger items are very, very tricky to mail. I always use FedEx Smart Post. FedEx Smart Post enables me to switch it to a faster way if it's cheaper. But if you go with like priority mail from the United States Post Office, those guys charge an outrageous amount for large items. So you got to be very careful. But if it gets down to about 2, 4, that kind of stuff, you can use some different mailers. I think there's the regional A's, that kind of thing. And then priority, all of a sudden, you're going to get it to them faster. And that's a big key, because that's how I work it. FedEx Smart Post, and all of a sudden they're like, boom, it shows up in 2 days when it was telling them it was going to be 8 to 10. And that's because you were able to fit it into a better bracket, a better shipping bracket, and the price was still either the same or less. Sometimes, if I'm on a FedEx Smart Post and it's telling me, let's say $15 and the customer paid $17.95, but if I send it priority, it's only $1 more, I shove it in priority. Boom. Because FedEx Smart Post, the way that works, it goes from FedEx to the post office, and then it can sit around at their local post office, and then from there it goes to their house. So you're increasing your odds of something going wrong. So that's why I like the less handling if it's possible. If not, then you got to use FedEx Smart Post for your item. But remember, you can always offer the slowest turtle and then upgrade them into the faster service, and they'll be happy. And if you look at my feedback, fast shipping, fastest shipper, that's because of what I'm doing. FedEx Smart Post, then boom, up into a different level if it all makes sense. I'm not afraid to eat $1 here or there, especially because it all works out if you learn how to price shipping. Sometimes you get more, sometimes you get less, so forth and so on. All right, next up, real quick, is learn how to be efficient inside the store. Big key here is we all shop at a grocery store. I'm going to use that as an example. You all know where the milk is, the bread is, the meat is, the vegetable are. You kind of know where all this stuff is, right? No different inside the Goodwill, the Savers, the Value Times, what all these thrift stores. Gotta learn how to be efficient in the store so you don't waste too much time. Probably not my number one issue is I probably spend way too much time in the store. That's just me. I'm learning to get better at it. I tell myself every time I go in, remember time. If it's not there, it's not there. Don't try and make something appear that's not there. So you got to be efficient. Know where you want to start, kind of know where you want to end. One of the biggest things you can do is start one direction and then backtrack and reverse backwards. So wherever you start and end, you reverse from there. So the start and end, you reverse. That way you get a second look and a second perspective. That's key. You might not see something behind something or so forth and so on. So do that. Look, use your eyes, use your hands, that kind of thing, but reverse your way out. You will be amazed at how many items you find because you missed them originally. So again, be very efficient inside the store. Learn each store's layout. Learn the stores that put out the bins. I have one that all I gotta ask the manager is, hey, we need some more bins. Today, for example, I was dead. I was like bored out of my gourd. I said, hey, I need some bins. Out popped 2 bins. I found nothing. But again, he's such a cool manager. He just says, let me get you some bins. And he pushes a couple of them out. So you get to know the employees. You know, talk to them. They're great people. They're going to help you. They might notify you, hey, I just put something over here. Can't tell you how many times that's happened. Got a couple stores that are working like that. They're going to get to know you. If you go in there enough, they're going to know who you are. And they're going to know if you're an idiot or a nice guy. I'd rather be known as a nice guy. Go in and make yourself welcome with them, and always say hi to them. It's tough. Some of them are in there under some different circumstances. So build them up. Be positive with them, and you will be rewarded in the end, okay? Let me see what else I have here. Okay, now, a lot of people have asked me, how am I doing, you know, the volume that I'm doing? Like I said, I have $19,000 in the last 60 days. Only been doing this 4.5 months. So how did I ramp up to 500 items in inventory and a pretty good pattern of stuff? It's simple. I have a routine, a very basic routine, and I have some principles that I follow. First off, I Uber and Lyft. Then, you know, I will hit the Goodwills, and then when I come home, every item, unless there's an issue where I got to clean it or something like that, goes up that night. So I have that pattern. If you've watched some of my videos, you've seen pictures of stuff on my counters, pictures of stuff out in my backyard. As soon as I'm done with those videos, bang, I start shooting pictures of the items. Unless they're really bad shape or something's wrong, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out, you know, shoot a figurine or whatever. Just shoot it and move on. I thought I would try and use a backdrop, and I might eventually if I have the space. I just use my granite kitchen counter. If you look at my photos, that's what I use. And it seems to work for me. It's always different for everybody else. But the key there is the efficiency and the pattern at which I do this. Now, I am very lucky in respect that I am close to a post office in the morning, and I'm close to a FedEx that opens at 7. I need both of those because I have to ship these out. There's been times where I've had 17 packages in this car at, you know, just before 7 a.m. Half of them are going in the post office, the other half are going to FedEx. So I will have a pattern of shooting stuff, shipping stuff, and then in the morning, throwing them in my car, and off I go. And once I'm done with that, then I start my Uber and Lyft day. That's me. I'm crazy. I hustle hard. I move and really do a lot. My days are long, but I'm figuring, look, I'm building a business, and that's how I was when I had my original business. At first, you put in all that time, build it, get into a pattern, get into something, and then you get into the routine, and it becomes a little bit easier. Another thing you don't want is a death pile. So that's why I put this stuff up. You get a death pile, and it's money sitting in the pile. I have a friend who has one, and I'm trying to encourage him to get all of that stuff up. So if you've got a huge death pile, then you need to focus on that pile and get it moving, because all you're doing is adding to it. You might go pick up 10 items, sell 7. Now you've added 3 to the pile if you're not listing. So it just kind of grows. So everything's got to go up. If it's not up, you can't sell it. Some people say, well, okay, you know, I'm just waiting. You're waiting for a season or something. Maybe you are if you're good enough at that. But again, my philosophy is if nobody's looking at it, nobody's going to buy it. So I'm going to put it up. And if it's seasonal, I might price it higher. At least it's up. Now that I got a store, it's not costing me a whole lot to keep it up. You know, it automatically rotates. So get it up, price it a little higher before the season. Then when the season comes, you know, you might be set up at the right price. So get into that routine, get your stuff out, get your stuff listed. Do not create a death pile. Be efficient. Buy quality, not quantity, because quantity can get you in trouble sometimes. It's good if you have like 16 model airplanes. That's pretty good, but they're all different, right? When you buy 16 items, you've got to sell those 16 items. They better be a good seller, or you better be willing to sit on some of that for a while. So let me see if I got anything else here. Oh yeah, well, basically, it's the last one was, don't buy just to buy. Really force yourself into a discipline where you are focusing on that quality item that you know has a very good chance at selling. My son-in-law is now doing this, and I'm emphasizing to him, hey, look, really be careful. Don't buy just to buy. Okay, guys? Hopefully you pick up a few things from here. It is possible. You have seen my numbers throughout the videos, and you've seen it grow. If you go back and look, there might be 13,000 after 60 days. I'm a hustler, and that's what it's going to take, people. It's not going to come super easy, but I will tell you that it is easier than you think it is, and that if you're efficient and willing to give it a shot, you're going to make some money. So hey, thanks for watching my channel. I do this not for myself. I do it to give some advice to people. I'm enjoying it. It's fun. So thanks again. If you want to give it a like, thank you. And if you want to subscribe, that's great too. I'm just going to keep making videos. I made a funny one the other day where I fixed that incinerator. That was a lot of fun for me. I got a lot of irons in the fire, as they say. So thanks to everybody, and I will see you next time.